Hello guys, welcome back to In 5 Minutes. In this presentation we are going to see the difference between static RAM and dynamic RAM. Before starting to the actual differentiation between these two, let us take a quick review about the RAMs. Basically on the mode of access, under this category I will categorize the memory, then you will get the random access, and which is categorized into these two parts, static RAM and dynamic RAM. So let me put some light on the static kind of memory and the dynamic kind of memory. Okay, the static memory is the content of memory locations do not change with the time as long as the power is on. Whereas in the dynamic memory is considered, if the power is off, the memory will be refreshed. Why? Because the memory is stored in terms of the MOS capacitors, which changes with time, and therefore it's also require the refreshing at regular intervals, because the whatever the voltage is stored in the MOS capacitors is changed. So let us see some of the very important differences between the static RAM and the dynamic RAM. Starting with the very first point, static RAM has a low density, whereas the dynamic RAM has got, due to simple cell structures, dynamic RAM have 4 times density that of the static RAM. If you consider the manufacturing process, the static RAM and dynamic RAM, they can both be implemented with the help of bipolar. Static RAMs can be implemented with the help of bipolar technologies, whereas the dynamic RAM can be implemented using unipolar, that is nothing but the MOSFETs fabrication. So that's why density is less at the static RAM. Moving on to the second point, cost is high per bit and cost is low per bit. To implement with the help of MOSFET technologies, it requires less space, hence the cost is also less in case of dynamic RAM, whereas the cost is high in the case of static RAM. It consumes more power. Static RAM consumes more power. The actual reason behind this is that the speed of operation is greater in the static RAM. We have already seen in the logic families that if the speed of operation is more, therefore it will consume more power, whereas due to slower speed, dynamic RAM consumes less power. Moving on to the second point, or the next point, static RAM, the memory is stored as long as the power is on, hence no refreshing is required while you are dealing with the static RAMs, whereas refreshing at regular interval or at regular time intervals is required for the dynamic RAMs. Why? Because as I earlier also said that the dynamic memories or the dynamic RAM information is stored in terms of MOS capacitors, which changes with time. Therefore it has to be refreshed at regular interval of time. So these are simpler. Dynamic RAMs are simpler, less expensive, and requires less power, along with they have high packing density, so in comparison to the static memory. Hence in digital systems, dynamic RAMs are widely used than the static RAMs, and the cost of circuitry required for the refreshing of dynamic RAM, it may increase the system cost, but still the dynamic RAM is more better than the static RAM. So that's all about the difference between the static RAM and dynamic RAM as far as the mode of access of memory is concerned with the digital system. And thank you for watching In 5 Minutes, and for more videos and ideas, stay tuned to In 5 Minutes.